Hi, how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. I have been looking over the past couple of months, really years, of some of this end times prophecy coming to fruition. And some of it is really concerning, especially this new introduction of a war with Iran. And I've been watching several prophets. There's a Joseph Z, and then there's a Brandon Biggs, and then there's an Angela something or other. And Angela keeps focusing on war. That's all she talks about is war. Brandon Biggs is kind of all over the place, but his prophecies are negative. And Joseph Z, it's really kind of negative prophecies, but they're positive too, and he tries to keep it upbeat and positive, or people would just get very depressed and probably just not listen to him, or just hang up on him and just not listen. But anyway, I started doing some research on the end times with a book that I also bought for my brother. And we've been looking into this together. The book was by Britt Gillette, Signs of the Second Coming. And he's really not a prophet. He just kind of rambles, and he puts things together very logically. He does a lot of research. And then he puts things together, and then he sends an update weekly or monthly, and it's very interesting. I mean, he sees things that's very interesting. Some things lately have been in the past couple of years that we're going to go through a famine, and we're all supposed to, save things up, save up canned goods, dried goods, water in our homes. And so anyway, now we've got the onset possibility of a nuclear war. And so this thing with Iran is just going to go on because they're crazy. Okay? There's something about that part of the world where I think the people are just crazy. It's interesting. They are the cradle of civilization. Europe is not. They branched out of there somehow, and America branched out of Europe. And I just think that part of the world, the cradle of civilization, the Mideast, they haven't changed the past 2,000, 5,000 years. They have not changed. You go there, and it's the same. Kind of frightening, really. They die. They're born poor, and they die poor. It's my brother's words, because he was stationed over there. Anyway, there's some things that, like Britt Gillette's his book, this cows killed, the red heifer. They're supposed to be sacrificed, and they were. And that's supposed to happen after the rapture. The rapture hasn't happened yet, and the cows have been sacrificed. And then the rebuilding of the temple, it's a prefab. It's been built. It just needs to be snapped together up there on the hill. And I don't know what kind of foundation they're planning on putting in there, but that Temple Mount is full of tunnels. It's full of tunnels, okay? And so anything heavy on that is going to push those tunnels in, and if they dig down to put in a foundation, they're going to find tunnels, perhaps. Plus, they're still looking for this gold gilded box called the Ark of the Covenant. We're going to be disappointed if we ever find that. It's not going to be as pretty as what we think. It's going to be pretty old, probably all collapsed in on itself. because those tablets, the Ten Commandments on the tablets in there, are pretty heavy, and they will be very weighty and probably fell through the box. Think about that. What, 2 to 5,000 years in a box somewhere in a cellar? They think it's underneath the Dome of the Rock in a tunnel. There's a room down there in a tunnel, and they've found it through X-raying the ground. There's something there. Anyway, there's something there. But they can't get to it because, that piece of land is owned by the Muslim community. And so anyway, lately their Scuds, they've been shooting out the missiles, shooting into Israel, have almost gotten that Dome of the Rock. It would not be a real great loss because that building has been damaged before, and that dome is held up by 2x4s. I saw the pictures. Someone went in there, took pictures. That Dome of the Rock is very fragile. It's extremely old. The only way to save, I think, that building is to take down the dome and rebuild it. The rest of the building is solid. It's just the dome. It's the dome that's crumbling. You can't expect it to last forever. And plus that piece of land is on very fragile land. It's on some fault lines, and it moves. That piece of land moves. Anyway, I wanted to mention that so that you get an idea. But this prefab building, they're ready to put it up now, and that's supposed to be after the rapture. It shows you how close we are to it. And then we have this war that just happened in Israel. It started last year. What was it with the Houthis? We kept hearing about Houthis. And with this kidnapping at some sort of musical fair. And they grabbed a whole bunch of people in Israel at this musical fair. Some were children. And they did a lot of really merciless killing. They just tortured these people to death. Why is it that part of the world has never grown up and the rest of the world has gotten advanced? In fact, we believe in peace. We do. But that part of the world is still fighting. I blame it on that Quran. I blame it on the Quran. If you've ever read it, they kind of the Quran promotes killings of non-Muslim people. If you talk to Muslim people, they're just like us, but there's something about, they just get carried away, and I don't understand it. And the people I know here from Afghanistan, they don't understand it either. That's why they're over here. They just want peace. They want a good life for their kids. They got 6 of them. And that's very typical of an Afghan family to have 6 children. It's very typical. And so anyway, they've got tunnels underneath that piece of land. They're ready to go with that temple. The person who signs, the treaty allowing them to go in and get their box, their, Mark of the Covenant, to search for it underneath the Dome of the Rock, and then signs the 7-year peace treaty, that will be the Antichrist. Okay? That will be it. And that will be him. And it'll be someone from Syria, old Syria. Syria was a much larger piece of land many years ago, when the Bible was written. And it talks about the Antichrist often, I think, in the Old Testament as the Syrian. You put into little pieces together. That's all we have is little pieces of the puzzle of putting together. And then we have Trump that came along. And, you know, here in the United States, we just don't think that he's altogether upstairs. We just think of him as kind of a nut. You know, he's a nice nut, but he's a nut, you know? And people say, oh, well, he's a Christian. Yeah, well, you know, he's not real glued together there very well. He's not. And so when I heard that he went in to assist, had our Navy go in to assist Israel with getting rid of the Iranian leader, what is it, Ali Gaddafi, something like that? You know, and why he was there. Why did he need to be there? I don't get it. It's just the ships out in the harbor. I just don't get why he needed to be there. Because the person who shot through that building was an Israeli pilot. They did the job. Israel did the job. And they should. They should. That's their beef. Anyway, last summer, if you remember, we bombed their mountain trying to get rid of some nuclear program that they had deep underground. Because they were threatening Israel, the USA, Europe, everyone with a nuclear weapon. Yeah, they were threatening everybody. Excuse me. So they have decided, and even Trump has decided, that they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Okay. So they have made this decision because these people are violent. They're absolutely violent. And I just think there's something demonic going on. Yeah. Anyway, you hear some noise upstairs. I'm in a very old house. And when the weather is not nice outside, the little squirrels have discovered some way of getting in the attic, and they'll just be running around up there. And I don't want to hurt the squirrels. You know, if I tell my landlord, they'll probably go up there with a shotgun or something and blast holes in through the ceiling. I'm like, no. These people, you know, I don't trust landlords. Never trust a landlord. You never know what they're going to do. But anyway, we are to this point where we're right on the edge of this rapture thing that's supposed to happen. We don't know what will happen. We hear that we are supposed to ascend, that we're going into a new dimension, that the whole planet's going into a new dimension, and that's why all the red moons and the eclipses, and, you know, that's an interesting theory. I'm not so sure I buy that. No real evidence here. No real evidence. But anyway, I wanted you to see wanted to do like a synopsis of this, because I find this war and all this build up to it disturbing. It's peace disturbing. It's peace disturbing. I had this old German friend who fought during World War II when he was a kid. He was just like a 13-year-old boy, and he was drafted by the German army. And somehow ended up over here and became a U.S. citizen. And anyway, that was his term. It's peace disturbing. Peace disturbing. Okay. Anyway, this whole thing, and I watch all these people. We're still supposed to go through an economic slump. More than a slump. We're supposed to hit bottom. We'll see what Trump can do. I already told him that we should do loan forgiveness. China has forgiven our loan. You know, the national debt. They forgave our loan. We should do the same for them. It's only fair. Everybody should forgive everybody else's loan. We'll start over. That'll pull us out of any national debt, just paying interest for no apparent reason. The interest is meaningless. And so, anyway, I don't like that switch plate back there. And I don't like that. Here, let's move this around a little bit more. And so, anyway, yeah, I'm in my kitchen here. I moved in a couple months ago. I never completely unpacked because the downstairs emptied out, and I'd much rather have that down there than up to the top floor, because my church that meets on Sundays, all handicapped and elderly people, and some of them cannot climb the staircase anymore. They did when they were younger. They did just a little while ago, but some of them have had some health issues. They can't climb steps. So I'm trying to move downstairs. Just leave everything in boxes and it'll be easier to move, right? Makes sense to me. But anyway, keep all of this in prayer because this is peace disturbing, okay? I feel like I can't live my life. Like, oh, we're going to have a rapture soon. Should I stop living? Should I stop doing what I'm doing? And everybody else has got the same question. Should I just stop and wait? We don't know what to do. It would be best to think, no, it's going to be way out there somewhere in the future, and continue living our lives. Also, what worries me is nuclear war. Get ready for that. There will be a few cities nuked. We are informed. That stuff blows around. That nuclear stuff blows around. Tape up your windows. Any little crack. Your doors. Put in gaskets and things. Make sure your doors fit tight. Because if something like that blows off, then you close yourself inside for 72 hours. Because of fallout, then it will come down. You don't want to breathe in that stuff. You might want to stay like in your cellar for, longer than 72 hours. So, really stock up. People in Europe are used to being invaded. Stock up. Okay? Especially water. Yes, fresh bottles of water. Get yourself cases of water. If anything happens, and some bomb goes off and we get fallout, that means our water supply is poisoned. Depends on how far you are away from the blast and what they're using. Because I've been reading into this, and this is not good. This is not good. We don't believe in stuff like this. We don't believe in it. That's why we've been trying to get everybody to get rid of their nuclear weapons. That's why we don't believe in it. So please keep that in prayer. And I'm at the 18-minute mark. And I believe in short little homilies, no more than 20 minutes. I will see you tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye.